Hello everyone, this is Mr. Informal back with a new Mr. Informal Podcast. We are on the Mr. Informal Podcast 211, 211 or 211. So I hope you are doing well today. I hope you are healthy. I hope you are enjoying the last days of winter. It's about to be spring. As you know, March is coming up. So, first and foremost, please do not forget to add me on Instagram, MISTERINFORMAL. Then check out my website, mrinformal.com, MRINFORMAL.com. Got some great stuff there. Definitely check it out. Wow, I'm stuttering. So in any case, these are the 4 topics for this Mr. Informal Podcast. Number 1, Louis Vuitton finally gets a creative director named Pharrell. ASOS is trying to find a CFO. Have they finally found one? Number 3, have you noticed that there's a lot less cashier in your department stores lately, especially Walmart, Target? And the last but not least is that eBay buys a artificial intelligence program for detecting fraud. So those are the 4 topics for this Mr. Informal Podcast 211. And so let's go ahead and start the podcast. On to the first topic from LVMH.com, titled Louis Vuitton appoints Pharrell Williams as its new men's creative director. February 14th, Paris. Louis Vuitton is delighted to welcome Pharrell Williams as its new men's creative director, effective immediately. Pharrell is a visionary whose creative universes expand from music to art and to fashion, establishing himself as a cultural global icon over the past 20 years. It's kind of odd statements. The way in which he breaks boundaries across various worlds, he explores and aligns Louis Vuitton's status as a cultural maison, reinforcing its values of innovation, pioneer spirit, and entrepreneurship. So Pietro Beccari, Louis Vuitton's chairman CEO, says, "I am glad to welcome Pharrell back home after a collaboration in 2004 and 2008 for LV as a new men's creative director." Well, honestly, he's only a men's creative director, but he's not the men's designer. Not only that, what's going to happen with his Chanel collaboration? Isn't he an ambassador or also creative director for Chanel? We'll see how that goes. Also, I'm having a hard time understanding what LVMH means, that the way in which he breaks expand from music to art to fashion, establishing himself as a cultural global icon over the past 20 years. I wouldn't say over the past 20 years. If you want to say 10 years, sure. So what do I really think of this hire? Honestly, I don't know. I like Pharrell. I like Pharrell's fashion. I like Pharrell's music. I like Pharrell's taste in art. But how will that translate into clothing, to accessories? He's only a creative director. He's basically going to give LVMH men's designer a direction, maybe an inspiration. But again, I don't really know. I was still up in the air with Virgil. I didn't see Virgil anything special. In terms of being a stylist, I'd say Pharrell is definitely great as a stylist, but as a creative director, again, I don't really know. Also, he's not gonna be full-time as a men's creative director, because Pharrell also does music for other artists, so he's only gonna do this part-time, and I don't think it's gonna be full-time. The men's side of Louis Vuitton has always been poor, has always been trash, nothing really innovative about it. I don't even know why LVMH talking about innovation and pioneering in terms of fashion. But honestly, I think it's more or less the same. So hopefully, I do know one thing that's gonna happen, and there's gonna be more collaboration with COS, with Human Made, Nego. That's going to happen. That's for sure. There's probably gonna be a lot more collaboration. Also, the Supreme thing, it's also gonna happen, but it's gonna be more or less the same. I don't see this pushing the boundaries in terms of men's design for Louis Vuitton. I truly think that they need to hire somebody who's fresh, who's young, who actually has a vision of what Louis Vuitton men's will look like. But in this case, I really don't know. On to topic number 2 from Retail Dive. ASOS named second interim CFO amidst turnaround plans. Wow, second interim? So, online fashion retail ASOS appointed Sean Glitero as interim CFO while the firm continues to search for a permanent financial chief officer effective this May. The company announced Friday Glitero has already joined the company in order to allow for a thorough handover. So in other words, he doesn't want to do it. He'll just do it temporary because it's pretty obvious that he's probably going to leave ASOS, and he knows it's a sinking ship. Current interim CFO Katie Mecklenburg will depart that month for another role, according to the company. Mecklenburg, who previously served as the fashion retail's director of group finance, took the interim seat in October following the departure of previous CFO Matt Dunn. The CFO change-ups are part of a larger series of executive moves and adjustment by London, UK-based company as it attempts to boost profitability following a period of slumping growth. Honestly, I actually like ASOS. I'm a big fan of ASOS, but I really don't know what happened. Actually, I do know what happened. I think that they got into the fast fashion category and they were producing too much inventory to the point where they were not selling. They're basically going against Zara, but the fact is that Zara maybe just have a better design, maybe Zara has a better quote following, or Zara just markets better. I don't know. Also, Zara is not really a fast fashion if you really want to break it down. From my perspective, Zara is more a 2-month type season. They probably have more seasons than a lot of clothing or brand out there. So with ASOS, I really don't think they should go up against Zara. I think they would have been better going on their own lane, actually producing design brands or design that are just better overall. So the Driving Change initiative includes the creation of a 12-person leadership team encompassing areas including technology, strategy, supply chain, and people communication, as well as finance. ASOS has now filled 75% of these roles through a combination of internal talent and key strategic hires. In other words, no one really wants to work for ASOS because it seems like it's a sinking ship. Either that or the upper management just absolutely sucks. That's all it is. So for the 4-month ending December 31, ASOS reported declining sales in both US and UK, with UK total decreasing 8% year over year, 591 million pounds for the period, according to company results. The company executive pointed to inflation and continuing impact of COVID-19. Oh, come on, really? You can really gonna blame the China virus? It's over. It's pretty obvious that their design sucks. Either that or their management sucks or their marketing sucks. That's why they're having this interim CFO, because it's pretty obvious it is a sinking ship. Don't be surprised if they start closing out stores. Closing stores all over the world. And it's pretty sad. I actually think that ASOS is a good brand, but maybe they just don't know how to market it well. And it's absolutely too bad that they're going through this. Not only that, they had ASOS in Nordstrom too, a pop-up. But their own stores is dwindling. I'm not surprised by this move. I guess they just don't know what to do. On to topic number 3. There is no article on this one. It's just more of my observation. So, as I go through Walmart, Target, even Whole Foods, even the small grocery stores or grocery chains, it's absolutely getting ridiculous. There are more people in the self-checkout than in the cashier lanes, or checkout lanes, I guess you can say. Also, we are not receiving discounts if you go through self-checkout. I really don't like going through self-checkout because it lets the brand know that people are willing to do it themselves than having somebody else do it for them. That means that the brands are not gonna hire more people in the cashier or in the checkout lanes. I really don't like it when people, or actually I wouldn't say people, when brands do this. They are cheapening themselves. They are thinking that we're dumbasses. I'm not surprised. There are a lot of dumbasses people out there who are willing to go through self-checkout lines and checkout lines themselves. That's because people go through self-checkout because the checkout lines are long, and also there's not a lot of people in there's not a lot of cashier in the checkout lines. That's why people are going to self-checkout. They don't want to go through that. I'm not saying they are forced to do that, but it's pretty obvious that if there's a long line, the checkout line, and the self-checkout is short, I mean, it's pretty obvious. People are gonna go through the self-checkout. But the fact is that when the self-checkout line is also long, the person who's actually doing it takes longer to process their transaction than going through the checkout line. Look, it's not just grocery stores that you've noticed this. I'm sure you noticed it from Target, Whole Foods, Walmart. I mean, even if you go to the west side, which is Fred Meyer, and even Home Depot have them, and Lowe's have them. I mean, I can go on and on about this. But if there was a choice of me picking the checkout line or the self-checkout, of course I'll do the checkout line. Also, these brands, I'm especially talking to you, Zara, is that they are only opening cashiers, 2 lanes of cashiers, and then on the men's area there's no cashier, so you gotta get in line in the women's, which is the longest line. They don't even want to hire enough people, and it is absolutely damning that these brands are getting cheap. Man, I'm glad I don't go to the mall anymore. I mean, I shouldn't say anymore, but I don't go to the mall a lot nowadays. I mean, sometimes I'd rather just be staying home and just buying online, but when it comes to clothes, I have to be in person because I want to try them on. I want to see them in person. But it's pretty obvious that these brands don't really care about retail experience, and they're not even helping. I mean, you don't even know who's working there. I mean, do they have a uniform? Do they have an ID? Like, if I go to J. Crew, I don't even know who's working there. If I go to Dover Street Market, I don't even know who's working there. There's no badge. I mean, there's no tags. I mean, there's no uniform. Like, again, you don't even know who's working there anymore. We gotta go to H&M. Do I know who's working there? I really don't know. So the formality of these brands in terms of experience, in terms of retail experience, is just gone. It's not even there anymore. And with all these self-checkout and less cashier, and the brand's really not helping you anymore, I mean, what's really the point? No wonder these brands are going bankrupt. And for me, if they want to go bankrupt, let them die. On to the last topic from RetailDive.com, titled eBay buys AI fraud detection company 3PM Shield. Continuing its acquisition spree, eBay announced Monday it has purchased 3PM Shield, a company that provides AI-based marketplace compliance solutions for an undisclosed sum, according to a press release. The two companies closed the transaction on Thursday. 3PM Shield technology will allow eBay to better spot suspicious or harmful sellers on its platform, as well as fraudulent, illegal, or otherwise unsafe items, the company said. eBay hopes to use 3PM Shield technology will help it maintain trust among its merchants and customers. Why didn't you just hire more people? I mean, why do you need an AI base to do that? I mean, people are just better off doing that. So, after laying off its worker earlier this month, well, there you go. eBay is continuing to pour money into acquisition. So, they could have used that money to keep their employees, but they don't want to do that. Instead, they buy a company for probably $100 million or $50 million. Last June, the e-commerce behemoth acquired Known Origin, a platform for selling non-fungible tokens for an undisclosed sum. 2 months later, the company announced plans to buy TCG Player, a company platform for collectibles, for about $295 million. I mean, wow. Isn't it obvious that they don't really care about people? News of the 3PM Shield acquisition by SEC filing last week, disclosing that the eBay planned to lay off 500 workers to improve its corporate structure and invest in new technology. Again, they could have used that money to keep that 500 workers. Like other marketplaces, eBay has battled counterfeit goods sold online for years. In recent years, the company introduced initiatives to authenticate watches, shoes, and sports memorabilia. The 3PM Shield deal will now allow eBay to bring more fraud-fighting tools in-house. Isn't it obvious? I mean, if you're going to sell those kinds of things, why not have a receipt? It is a top priority to help ensure that eBay remains a safe and trusted environment for a global community and sellers and buyers, particularly to prevent counterfeits and unsafe illegal products. Zhizhou, Chief Risk Officer at eBay. Honestly, I don't think this is gonna stop these frauds and these counterfeits and these fake stuff. It doesn't. I need to know, how will the AI know it's fake or not? I mean, if I put a Louis Vuitton keep-all, how does it know? I mean, do I need to provide receipts? Do I need to scan something? I mean, what do I need to do here? I mean, is it going based on pictures? Is it going based on ratings? Is it based on the look? I mean, is it based on the description? I need to know, but I'm still trying to understand why people buy AI when AI is not even in there yet. We don't have the infrastructure or even the technology to even like have that AI where it's thinking like a human. Also, these AI have to be trained or programmed to actually know what's counterfeit or not. I mean, for something to be counterfeit, you have to see it in person, but you can't see it per picture. I mean, you can't see it per description. So I don't even know what's the point of eBay trying to buy these acquisition. I think this is more of a just buying whatever they want, or they don't want to lose this AI because somebody else might buy it. It's just one of those moves. But again, I don't think this is going to stop counterfeits or frauds. Well, that basically concludes this Mr. Informal Podcast 211. Those are the 4 topics that spoke and talked about in 211. I hope I gave you some insights and made you learn something new, and also make you listen to me from the beginning to end, and if you did, I really do appreciate it. Please do not forget to add me on Instagram, MISTERINFORMAL, and then check out my website, mrinformal.com. That's MRINFORMAL.com. And so I hope you are enjoying your day today, or night, or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I hope you are healthy, and if you are not, hopefully you get better. And so that basically concludes for this Mr. Informal Podcast 211. I will see you in the next podcast. Bye-bye.